Hello and welcome to Breathwood. My name is David Yates and long time no see. It's been a while since I've done a video, and the easiest explanation I have to say about that is haven't been very inspired in terms of rhythms or songs. But I have a concept I've been playing with off and on for several months now, and I feel like I'm finally ready to at least share the initial stages of this idea. Uh, and it relates to circular breathing. Of course, circular breathing, the core key concept of playing didgeridoo, the thing everyone wants to be able to do, even though you don't need to be able to circular breathe to play. It's actually much more important to have a strong drone in the beginning and then to play rhythms than it is to have a weak drone and functional circular breathing. But anyway, this concept has come out of playing with more front of the mouth style percussive playing, which I would say I'm still pretty shaky at. But I had a realization, and it's this. Just try this along with me. Air is everywhere, so if you open your mouth, don't breathe right now, just open your mouth and close it. You've caught some air. There is air everywhere, that there is space, and that there is not some kind of, if there's an enclosed space and you pull the air out of it, then you've got a vacuum with no air. That's the only place where you don't find air, outside the atmosphere and in something like a vacuum tube. Otherwise, there's air. That means initially, right now, just to explore, I don't need to use my lungs to fill my mouth. I can just open my mouth and close it, and there's air. Now, let's say you grab a didgeridoo, put your mouth to the didge, having done nothing yet, there is air in my mouth, waiting to be used. The reason it's hard to work with that air is because we are used to using air to vibrate our vocal cords when we speak. And of course we use air to breathe. That's a whole other thing actually. But when it comes to making sound and mouth movements, the air powers everything. We don't just move our mouths with no air. There's always air moving. I would say 99% of the time. 99% of the time when we use our mouths to express and make a sound, we are using air. If we're not using our voices and we're doing something like beatboxing, we're still using air to power those sounds. So we put the didge to our mouths and there's air. Now, what do we do with that air? The common approach is to start blowing. But that's lung air. We need to differentiate between lung air and air everywhere else. And then in this case, air in our mouths. So didgeridoo goes to the mouth. Can you begin to work with the air that is already there? Can you squirt it forward? So without the didge, the easier way to accomplish this is with an F sound. And you want to think of creating a squeeze inside your mouth somehow. Some people will get it by thinking of the cheek squeezing. Notice I'm not even breathing, I'm just expanding my cheeks around the air that's already there. The way that I know that that's true, that I'm not using lung air, is because I can breathe in while I do this. I can start breathing in and fill my cheeks and squeeze air out without even stopping the in-breath. So if I empty my lungs, okay, actually, cheating a bit, I can do this constantly. Now this is working in one of two possible ways. Either my lungs are cheating and supplying a little stream of air without me even knowing it. Or I'm letting air fill back into my mouth when I pause there. See, there's space, and now there's air. There's space, now there's air. The didgeridoo is more of a closed system. We're not allowing air in. We only want it to go out. So that principle isn't going to apply. But the weird thing is there's still air without us having to be so fixated on breathing. Okay, back to the F sound. F sound, cheeks, push it out. F sound. F sound is just lower lip to upper teeth. Jaw drops, squeeze the air out. Tongue goes up to the roof of the mouth and forward. And again, I can sit here and do this a lot without doing any circular breathing. If I get really honest with myself, I'm likely pulling air in. Or just allowing it to come back in. My mouth is not the most efficient vacuum. Okay, so you can get the F sound by just squeezing. And if you can't, stay there for a while until you can get it. You need to know how to power your mouth's squeezing motion. The back of your mouth, back of your tongue, the soft palate and where the tongue and they connect, the tongue moving forward, the jaw closing, the cheek squeezing, some combination of those. You got to be able to move that air forward. And to test yourself, can you take a breath in while you do it? In fact, can you just breathe in and out naturally? Next step, vibrate the lips. Now with this one, because the lips have to maintain a certain tone, a certain position, the cheeks are a little less viable. I have trouble getting my cheeks to move while holding the vibration position. It's possible. I have an easier time with jaw and just tongue. Where's the air coming from? I'm not thinking about diaphragm. I'm not thinking about my lungs. The air is just there. The main thing happening now is my tongue's getting tired of pushing the air forward, and I'm getting a little bit dizzy from all of the breathing. The air is there. So let's switch our perspective on circular breathing for just a moment. Let's just give it a chance. Instead of going lungs and drone, then charge up the face, squeeze and breathe, we're going to take the air that's there, squeeze it out, breathe in, and then play the drone. So with the F sound, two motions. Well, you know, we've combined a few motions in the first moment, breathing in and squeezing out, and then we just blow out. So we're flipping things. We're doing the circular breathing right from the start. And as I've said in previous videos, circular breathing is just a bad term for it. Let's call it continuous outward pressure, continuous outward flow, continuous lip buzz, or in this case, F sound. It's just a continuous sound. The breathing is a bit of a juggling act. Continuous outward pressure is a good one. Pressure from the face, right? And then pressure from the diaphragm lung system. People like the idea of circular breathing because it looks like a circle. In the nose, out the mouth. But really it's always out the mouth, sometimes in the nose. Always out the mouth, sometimes in the nose. Always out the mouth, sometimes powered by the mouth, sometimes powered by the lungs and diaphragm. And then buzz. So again. So we got to go back to the sound I was making with just my mouth. And then see if we can connect it to the drone after. See, now if it's a quick one, the sound's already done before I drone. So the initial sound will take some practice. If you suck at this, circular breathing will be harder. Or you're a very percussive staccato style player. And that's okay too, I guess. You could do it with a break in the sound, but to really dial this in, got to extend that push out of the mouth. Now here's the funny thing. I'm talking about squeezing or pushing from the mouth. In Dubrovko's way of looking at things, this holding back of the air is considered the pull. The pull is mouth sound as far as I've gathered, whereas his push is explosive diaphragm and lung powered breath that's held back and compressed and then released. So if I'm saying push and he's saying push, don't get confused. We might be talking about it in different ways. I'm saying squeeze and push the air out the mouth while breathing in. You could work on just this, and then drop it into your playing later if you have yet to do circular breathing. So, squeeze the sound out, breathe in, and then let the drone pop in. Then you will find that once the drone's going, it makes it easier to keep the drone going while you continue this squeeze and breathe motion. It's like the motor's already been revved up. That's just me kind of playing with this idea of a little squeeze of air and breath and then allowing the drone to come back in. There I flipped it. I started to lapse into what I would say is similar to Andrea Furlan's tupa-tuka, or just tupa-tupa-tupa, where the p is kind of like what I'm talking about. It's just a mouth movement during which you can breathe in. It's a sound. It's just a sound from the mouth that is separate from the lungs and diaphragm. There are a lot of sounds like that. But I want to go back to breathe first and then drone. Those all kind of feel like variations of cup, 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 cup. So there you go. That's the introduction to a concept I've been exploring for a few months. I really have to shift my approach to playing in order to make use of this. If I play in kind of the old way that I usually play, this doesn't come into practice. But when I start my playing with this idea, it supercharges it in amazing, amazing ways. Um, let's just see. If I was doing this before. Um, Lost it. I'm allowing myself to be fast but messy just to demonstrate that it's possible to gain speed, eventually clarity, by shifting the focus. And the breathing suddenly feels a lot more easeful. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this approach to circular breathing. Maybe it's nothing new. Maybe someone's done this before. Or maybe it's totally groundbreaking. We'll find out. If you like how I teach, if you like how I break things down, I'm doing a lot more teaching these days through Patreon, where people support my work for anywhere from, well, to see the videos and the content, 15 a month and up. 30 and up, you get private lesson time with me. 15, you get access to the Secret Rhythm group on Facebook, where I post a lot of this stuff. I've been doing weekly rhythm videos. I did some circular breathing breakdown stuff separate from this. Sometimes I show just what I'm playing and break it down with words, so people can kind of learn to listen and follow along. That's all on Patreon. I've been doing a lot less, obviously, on YouTube. So that link is below. And would love to see more of you there, because it's a small enough group still that there's a lot more direct attention. If someone has a question, I can answer it. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all of your incredible support. All your comments and feedback is really lovely. I really appreciate it. And it's what keeps me going through all the times when I consider just stopping. I go back and read a few comments and realize, nope, I don't want to stop yet. I want to keep sharing. So there you go. It's really up to you as well as me. It's two-way street, two-way road. All right, there we go. I'm going to wrap this up, and really appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching. Happy playing, and I'll see you soon.